Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for this video today. So first of all, I know it's been several weeks since I have uploaded a video, and I apologize for that, but I also wanted to give a big thank you to all 45 of my current subscribers. It really means a lot to me that I at least have some subscribers to this channel, so thank you very much for subscribing and for your support, and I really appreciate that. So let's just jump into this. So this has basically just become, instead of an art journal, it's more of a sketchbook for practicing my oils. I hadn't used my oils in a really long time, and I just kind of want to get into the reason for that. I think I've kind of mentioned this a couple times, that since I left college, really trying to keep up with my art and keep up with my creativity has been really challenging for me. For a variety of reasons. You know, there's the time thing, there's the motivation thing, and one of the biggest problems that I had was dealing with the after effects of my very brief experience in grad school. I felt like our projects were critiqued more based on how weird they were, how they wouldn't necessarily appeal to a wide audience, and things like that. And that was incredibly discouraging for me. It was probably one of the most discouraging experiences I've ever had in my life. And so once I left that program, it was really difficult for me to, you know, find the motivation to paint something or find the motivation to draw something, because I would always have like the voices of those professors and everybody just kind of like, well, what's the point of this? What does this mean? What is this supposed to appeal to? I mean, of course, it's silly to expect in a graduate level program that the answer of, oh, I just drew this because it looks nice, is acceptable. But also to a certain point, I think that, you know, craftsmanship is something that needs to be taken into consideration. Like, I remember there was one particular instance where there was a fellow student of mine, and she did this incredible still life painting. It looked like photorealistic. It was so well executed. She spent hours and hours and hours on this thing, and our professors just tore her apart, just basically criticizing her for creating a piece that, for lack of a better word, is appealing to a lot of people. And I kid you not, there was another student who basically just did a bunch of scribbles on sketchbook paper, tacked it to the wall, and called it art. And our professors thought that was genius. And that was incredibly discouraging to me. It just kind of made me think, well, what's the point of this? What's the point of creating something if, you know, because if too many people like it, therefore it's not really art. And that's something that has just really stuck with me in the years following that experience. And I actually had a conversation with my boyfriend about this just at dinner. I was just telling him how I've been really struggling with all this, you know, and things like that. And then we just kind of talked about it, and basically the conclusion that he kind of came to was, well, why do you still let these people influence like how you do things now? And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, you know what? He's absolutely right. Like, I am not in contact with any of my professors from grad school. I'm not really in contact with any of my old classmates either. But I just kind of realized that I was still just letting these people have this massive amount of power over me, who just really, at this point, couldn't care less about me because I haven't been in school for several years. And it just kind of hit me over the head that I'm just letting these people still have a hold of me, like, even after all these years. So after I went home, I just took out my oil paints, I put gesso on a page, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to paint something. And I remembered that I saw this butterfly when I was just on a walk during lunch at work, and I'm like, you know what, I just want to paint this butterfly and just kind of see what happens. I just did my best just not to really think about it, just kind of paint as I go along, just kind of figure it out as I go along, not worry about it being perfect, not worry about it, you know, looking completely realistic. I just wanted to paint something. And I mean, even with all that being said, I'm really happy with how this turned out. This was a lot of fun to do, and I just felt so much better after I did this. It was just really therapeutic for me, I guess, in a really, really great way. Of course, I'm not saying that I am by any means, I guess, cured of this issue that I have, but if anything else, if you're having that same kind of struggle where you're struggling with previous critiques, whether it be from like professors or family members or friends or something like that, just try to remember that you don't need to let those people have that kind of power over you. It's almost like I've heard like a similar thing with forgiveness, like holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die or something like that. It's kind of the same thing. It's like you're afraid of creating because you're afraid that this other person who doesn't have an influence in your life is gonna somehow come out of the woodworks and have something to say about it, which is totally not true. So that's just been something that is a big lesson that I've learned recently, and something that I am going to work a lot harder on moving forward, both with my art and with my YouTube channel. And just one last thing that I want to say just regarding the definition of art. In my opinion, the definition of art is some kind of visual creation that invokes some kind of emotional response. So whether that emotional response is just, oh, that looks kind of neat, or huh, that piece really made me think, or oh, that looks really nice and that was done really well, like that's all some kind of emotional response. In my opinion, I feel like the art world is getting so caught up in trying to get away from the so-called status quo that it's creating its own kind of status quo, and in my opinion, I don't think that's good for artists. I don't think that's good for just creative people in general. At the end of the day, art is really what you make it, and again, that's something that I still really struggle with. I struggle with the idea that what I create is still art, even though it's not something that would necessarily be incredibly weird. I mean, I do like creating really weird and dark things from time to time, but it just all depends on the day, and it just depends on what I feel like creating at the time. So I know it's a lot easier said than done, but try not to let this modern definition of art influence what you do or do not create. It's just not worth it. I mean, everybody's definition of art is different, and just because yours may not fit someone else's definition doesn't mean that it's wrong, and it doesn't mean that it's bad. So just keep creating, and that's something that I just need to keep telling myself from here on out, just to not worry about what other people think, and just to create whatever I want whenever I want. So I think that just about wraps up this video for today. If you guys like these little oil sketches, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to keep making more of these. I have a lot more ideas for more oil painting sketches. I'm just waiting for this one to dry so I can start the next one. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and it just lets me know that you guys like what you see and you guys want to keep seeing more. And if you guys have any suggestions for anything in the future, please feel free to leave me a comment, and I will see what I can do with that. So thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!